Americans for Fair Taxation presents the Weekly Chairman's Report, written by Steve Hayes, president of Americans for Fair Taxation, and recorded by Bob Paxton, a volunteer with the Florida Fair Tax Educational Association. And now, this week's Chairman's Report.
Hello, I'm Bob Paxton with the AFFT Chairman's Report for Friday, August 20th, 2021. The 9 most terrifying words in the English language. I'm from the government, and I'm here to help. Ronald Reagan's famous quote is quite applicable to a proposal being floated around D.C. as the way to fix one of the most irritating problems with the income payroll tax system, having to file annual income tax returns. An article published at Vox.com accurately sets forth the intent of the ruling class and their minions in D.C. not to reform the federal income payroll tax system, but to use it to expand their control over us. The article states the IRS brags that 70% of Americans are eligible for free file, but for the 2019 tax season, only 4.2 million returns out of 157.2 million total returns were filed through free file. That's just 2.6%. Intuit and H&R Block are withdrawing from the free filing program. California's Ready Return pilot allowed for pre-filled returns to be mailed to most Californians, sparing them from having to fill in the returns themselves. Countries like Denmark, Sweden, Estonia, Chile, and Spain already offer pre-populated returns for their citizens. And the IRS has all the information it needs to calculate our taxes and send each of us a filled-out tax return. Now, make no mistake about it, though, simplicity is not the real reason for IRS-prepared returns. According to the IRS in 2019, there were 154,094,555 individual income tax returns filed, yielding $1.942 trillion in revenue to the government. There were 2,146,904 corporate tax returns filed, yielding $275.863 billion. There were 239,618 gift tax returns filed, yielding $1.563 billion, and there were 25,742 estate tax returns, yielding $16 billion. Now, the ruling class and their minions are promising to eliminate the need for people to file income tax returns. But their solution? Have the IRS prepare everyone's return for them. Now, how can this be done? When our employers send us a W-2 or others send 1099s showing the amount of income from interest or from other independent services, a copy of that is sent to the IRS. Now remember, part of the additional funding for the IRS proposed by the Biden administration is for an upgrade to IRS computers. Now in theory, it would be simple for these new IRS supercomputers to compile all of this information that the IRS already gets and prepare your 1040 income tax return for you. Now, although this hasn't been clearly stated, the eventual plan is for the IRS to prepare your return for you, and they would send you a copy of it along with either a refund or a bill for additional taxes owed. Now, to be fair, there are a number of tax filers who have only regular income from an employer that would be reported on a W-2 and who take the standard deduction. Now, in those cases, the IRS computer would likely produce an accurate return. However, as the complexity of a return increases, the likelihood of having a computer generate it accurately lessens considerably. Now, many taxpayers have to attach a number of different schedules to their basic 1040, or they have income separate from their W-2 earnings. Now, what happens if an IRS-prepared return is not accurate? Well, if you think it's frustrating now trying to get through to the IRS to get answers to your questions, just wait until you try to dispute the accuracy of the data that the IRS's supercomputers come up with on you. And what's the difference between spending time and effort preparing your return and spending time and effort checking the accuracy of an IRS-generated return? Now, just what's the real reason behind this fix? The real reason is the ruling class and their minions want all of us to just blindly accept the control that they want to exert over our lives. They don't want us challenging them about the amount of money being taken from us by the income payroll tax system. In conclusion, the ruling class and their minions very much agree with the following story. A man walked into the income tax collector's office, sat down, and beamed at everyone. "What can we do for you?" the clerk asked. "Nothing at all," the man replied. "I just wanted to meet the people that I'm working for." Informed people are the greatest threat to the ruling class and their minions. This is why they are so fiercely opposed to the fair tax. They know that if they can just reduce some of the irritation that filing tax returns causes us, we'd be more likely just to go along with their system. And then, once we've accepted the idea of them preparing our income tax returns for us, they can put whatever figures they want on those returns and extract as much as they want from us without resistance. Never lose sight of the fact that when the ruling class and their minions say they're doing something for us, they're really doing it for themselves. And there's nothing they'd like more than to get people to just shut up and quit complaining about being fleeced every payday. So, what can each of us do about it? We can write letters and make calls to our elected representatives demanding that if the government really wants to eliminate the burden of filing income tax returns, they should enact the fair tax and do away with tax returns altogether. The great 18th century Irish statesman Edmund Burke made a statement that applies in many different ways. Nobody made a greater mistake than he who did nothing because he could only do a little. Take back control. Help us pass the fair tax. The IRS will be gone and we'll pay our taxes when we make purchases. We, not the ruling class and their minions in D.C., will decide how much federal tax we pay. Now, if you have friends who don't know about the fair tax, send them to fairtax.org. Have them watch the whiteboards under How It Works, and if they agree, ask them to please join us. Then, contact your members of Congress and the President and demand that Congress pass the fair tax, the only truly fair tax.
This has been the Weekly Chairman's Report, written by Steve Hayes, President of Americans for Fair Taxation. Check back every week for news and information about the fair tax, and learn why the fair tax should replace our antiquated federal income tax system. If you'd like to receive a copy of the Chairman's Report in your inbox every week, sign up at fairtax.org.